This video is going to be really basic and I'm just going to explain the initial strategy which you can use if the real estate business is very new, or if your client is a real estate broker, or if you are a real estate broker, then you can follow this strategy in order to get some leads and get some contacts. So without wasting much of our time, let's start the video. Once you are on your ad account dashboard, go to create and start creating a campaign. The objective will be lead generation under consideration, and let's name this campaign. I'm gonna name it TPPC and lead generation. Click continue. Perfect. Now under special ad categories, you will have to select housing, because for certain industries such as where we are listing properties, or we are dealing with home insurance, mortgage, or any other related opportunities, as you can see on the screen, we'll need to let Facebook know that our ads are from special ads categories. So just gonna select housing from here. Now Facebook is really smart in terms of finding out the best audience. Although we are selecting special ad categories, but it doesn't mean that we'll be very limited in advertising or will be very limited in finding new audience. Facebook will do most of the job for us. We'll just need to select the proper options which are available for us. So for country, let me select Canada. You can learn more about how declaring this category helps, or if you want to skip it, of course you can skip it. For buying type, keep it auction, and for campaign objective, of course it will be lead generation. If you want to add any campaign spending limit, you can add it here, but I prefer to monitor the campaigns on a real-time basis and on a daily basis, so I hardly add any campaign spending limit. If you want, you can of course create a rule at a later stage if you don't want to spend more than a certain amount, which is a really good practice, because I once remember one of my client had only a specific amount of budget and I spent 7 to 8% more. And eventually it led to some discussions and they didn't pay me for the amount of work I put in for that project, but that's also fine. This is how you learn, and after that I always follow this practice to create a rule in case I forget about any step. So you can also use the same strategy if you feel there are too many things to juggle at one time. It will reduce the working load for you. Now going back to the campaigns, under A/B test, keep it turned off. Under campaign budget optimization, keep it turned off, since we are starting a very new campaign and we'll be finding out which ad set is working better than the other. So that's why we are not using campaign budget optimization for this campaign. We'll of course create rule under ad sets. Let's say there are two ad set, A and B. B is not having any conversions and it has spent $20 to $30, and we don't want that, so we can create a rule, and I'll show you all these things. I just wanted to give you some idea about it. If you are finding it confusing, don't worry about it. We'll discuss this exact same thing again. Just click on next. So under ad set, it's giving us an error, which is we haven't accepted the terms and conditions. Let's click on edit, click view terms, agree to accept the terms. This error will go eventually once you accept the terms. You can select the page where you would like to show your ad. This is just for example, which I'm using for this account. So under ad set name, let's give this ad set a name of a certain specific location. Since we selected Canada, we'll give this ad set a name, Toronto, and the name of the building, let's say building A. Now there are three different ways for lead method: instant forms, automated chat, and calls. I would suggest to use instant form. It works well for real estate brokers and for real estate industry specifically, because you get phone number, you get full name, and you get an email address, and you can keep all those things under your database instead of having an automated chat option where you'll have to come back to your Facebook chat and talk to every single person from just one platform. It could still work, but it's for a business who works on a more larger organization, who are managing many different social channels, and they can have a dedicated person who can get in touch with people on Facebook and a separate team for other social media channels. And if you select call, you will of course get calls, but it will be very hard to keep database of every single caller. So instead of that, we'll just select instant forms so that we have the name of the person and his details in one single database, and we can contact whichever lead we want at our own convenient time. I hope that makes sense. So moving ahead, now under page you can select the page. We have already accepted terms. Dynamic creative, keep it off for this ad set, as we'll just have image ads, and we are not using images of different sizes. We'll just have a square image. Under optimizations and delivery, we are not using any cost control. For this option, you can keep it as leads. Scroll all the way down. These two are good, impression and standard. Select a budget. The other things you can keep it as it is, or you can change the date and time according to when you want to launch the campaigns. Now scroll all the way down to audience. Under custom audience, you can select if you have any custom audience, but since it is a very new campaign and I assume this will be a very new ad account, so we are not using any custom audience for this, and we are just creating a campaign from scratch. So we'll let Facebook decide everything instead of having too many segmentations or too many variations in audience. We can of course do this on a later stage once we have enough data from our initial campaigns. For this stage, let's keep it blank. Select the location. Just gonna change this to people living in this location, and I'm gonna remove India and select Toronto since our ad set is targeting Toronto. Let's make our audience a little bit broad. So I'm going to change this from 25 to 40 kilometers. Okay, that should be good. We have good amount of audience, 4.6 million to 5.5 million. Scroll all the way down. We cannot change the age for real estate ad categories, so this is going to be exactly what we are getting from Facebook. And we cannot select the gender either, so Facebook is going to decide on its own the best audience for us based on special ad categories. And for this ad set, we are not using any detailed targeting option. And language, we can keep it all languages. Under show more options, you can select connections, which is all people. You can change it, but I'll keep it as it is. We are going to use manual placement, not automatic placements, and we are only going to use first three under feeds, that is Facebook news feed, Instagram feed, and Facebook marketplace, nothing else. So we are going to turn off all this as we don't want unnecessary budget to be spent on this. And as far as real estate audience is concerned, it works very well for Instagram and Facebook feeds and the marketplace. We can keep the devices and operating systems as it is, and let's click on next. So that's how we set up the ad set and campaigns. In another part of this video, I'm gonna show you how we can set this ad